Hey guys, this is the one topic I thought I could avoid for Karl's sake, but it has now become unavoidable due to the pestering of Karl's Discord fans. If you see them, give them a thumbs up because I definitely appreciate them helping the algorithm. And they're, of course, concerned about me not having any viewers or supporters, and it's just kind of a small niche group of individuals. Well, I have decided, in their honor, this is shout out to Karl's Discord, I'm going to cover this. And I'm going to cover it in painstakingly long, multiple videos. Here we go. Hello, you absolute legend. So Karl Jobst raised $200,000 in Australian. Again, that's Australian dollars. Hello, you absolute legends. Apollo legend. My name is Karl Jobst, and I'm a YouTuber who often reports on video game cheaters. Last year, Billy Mitchell, star of The King of Kong and proven video game cheater, sued me for defamation, claiming damages of $450,000. In the past year alone, this lawsuit has cost almost $200,000 to defend and will at least cost another $100,000 before it's over. The situation is already crazy, but since got much worse as Billy Mitchell sent me another defamation lawsuit for another $450,000. So that would mean I would need to defend two lawsuits at the same time, both being extremely expensive, but then it gets even worse because Billy is threatening me with even more lawsuits. These lawsuits with an S, are unhinged and are highly likely Billy will ultimately lose. But until we go to trial, it requires a lot of money to deal with. I would appreciate any help you are able to provide, as this affects not only me, but my family as well. Obviously, it's bad enough to attack me when I've done nothing wrong, but to injure them as well takes things to another level. Naturally, the more money I am able to raise, the better my legal defense will be. That's just the way it works. If and when I defeat Mitchell in court, he will likely have to pay back. Okay, here's the update. There's only one update. Hello, you absolute legends. Apollo legend. Thanks so much for your support you've given so far. Billy Mitchell ended up backing out of the second lawsuit. Second, meaning there was a first and a second, which means all funds will go towards helping with the existing lawsuit and to deal with the inevitable future threats. Okay, where the hell's Apollo legend in any of this? I'm hoping to get the trial done within the next few months, so fingers crossed it's all wrapped up soon. This is a message I got from Cytopia. He's in the comment section. He's providing me really good information. You can go to the following address to search for court cases, and you yourself can do this as well from home. In this case, search for party details Mitchell, second party details Jobst. You can see from the screenshot there are two results. However, do not let that fool you. 13621 was the original lawsuit filed in Carnes. 107524, there appears to be a copy and paste of 13621, and there is a copy and paste. It appears the lawsuit started in Carnes, 2 hours north of Brisbane, which is where Billy Mitchell's original lawyers are. The lawyers that appeared in court are from Brisbane. If I were to take a guess, I would guess Karl requested a change of venue. I don't know if canceled lawsuits are removed from the page, but if you want to confirm there was only one lawsuit for sure, I would contact the courts directly and ask them see contact details before. I have done that. If you guys from home, we're going to give you contact details, can ask the court whether or not Billy Mitchell sued Karl Jobst once or twice, I would appreciate that because we're trying to dig and we're trying to find from Karl's own GoFundMe. Okay, from Karl's own GoFundMe. The reason I think this is a copy and paste is you look at the file date. It's very unlikely. And then you look at the two locations. It's probably change of venue. The reason this makes a big difference is Karl in his GoFundMe. Let me read you his GoFundMe, the lines that make sense. Okay. The situation is already crazy, but since it got much worse, as Billy Mitchell has sent me another defamation lawsuit, not threat of defamation, another defamation lawsuit for another $450,000. So according to Karl, at this point in time, when he was asking for money from you guys, he was being sued twice. One for $450,000 and another one for $450,000. These are not threats of lawsuit. This is lawsuit. So that means I will need to defend 2 lawsuits at the same time. 2 lawsuits, not 1, 2. Okay? These lawsuits are unhinged, and it is highly likely that Billy will ultimately lose. So again, a very, very poor prediction of the actual outcome of the lawsuit. Nonetheless, here is what I'm going to say again. For the update implies there are 2 lawsuits. Because if there's not 2 lawsuits and you... Okay, so hello, you absolute legends. Thank you so much for your support you've given so far. Billy Mitchell ended up backing out of the second lawsuit, which means all funds will go towards helping with the existing lawsuit, which is Apollo Legend. Right? The lawsuit he's referring to as lawsuit number 1 has to be Apollo Legend because it cost him $200,000, and we know that there was a point in time where he was paying his lawyer north of $200,000, and the judge said that was too much money. This was over what was expected, and to deal with inevitable future threats. I'm hoping to get the trial done within the next few months. So fingers again, none of what he predicted in his GoFundMe turned out to be true. Now, some of it is a prediction, right? When you say, oh, I hope to win, or we're likely to win, that's a prediction. But when you're talking about second lawsuits with an S, it makes it seem like he's actually sued you twice. Now, maybe he threatened you 1,000,000 times, but Karl clearly knows the difference between a threat of a lawsuit and a lawsuit because he clarifies that there are additional threats of lawsuit coming, right? And I pulled it out. People are like, where do you get this from? I got it from literally Karl Jobst's GoFundMe page. I didn't want to go to GoFundMe because then I know it would be more chaotic, right? I already see the Karl Jobst lovers in the comments battling for their lives, and I'm on part of their Discord channel, and some of the shit they're saying is very, very... I'll just put it, it's kind of disgusting behavior. But that's what happens when you have an echo chamber and everyone wants to kill, right? Destroy. Like, I don't think there's anyone in that Discord channel that I would actually want to meet in person. That being said, let me focus. I know people think I repeat myself. I'm focusing. Okay, I'm going to focus. My end result is, was there 2 lawsuits? That's question 1. That we have to, if Karl were to be honest, he would do a live stream. And he would allow us to ask him questions. That's kind of how I do a live stream. You guys answer questions in chat, and whatever gets upvoted, I answer I talk about whatever topics you guys want. If Karl's done live streams before, so you cannot tell me Karl just doesn't live stream. He's done one on Camelot, right? So he's open to doing live streams. I think he should do one on his channel, and I think he should allow people to collect questions, especially the donors. If you're a confirmed donor, you should be able to ask him these questions. So my question would be, Billy Mitchell's son says that there was only 1 filed and served 1 lawsuit onto Karl. There you see right there. My father filed and served 1 lawsuit onto Karl. Karl says in his GoFundMe, let me repeat this again in Karl's own words, right? This situation is already crazy, but has gotten much worse as Billy Mitchell has sent me another defamation lawsuit for another $450,000. That sure sounds like there is 2 lawsuits, right? He didn't send you a letter threatening another lawsuit, because later he would talk about this, and there's clarification, right? There's clarification that Billy Mitchell is going to send even more, because Billy is threatening me with even more lawsuits. So he's using the word threatening. So he understands what that means in this context. So there's no disagreement as to what a lawsuit would be, right? Especially given the fact that he knows what a threat of a lawsuit is because he mentions it right there. So I guess that's the question. That's the first question we have to ask. And that's actually not the most important question. The most important question that we have to ask is whether or not Billy Mitchell sued you, Karl, whether or not you can show an imputation, a claim for defamation, not regarding Apollo Legend, but regarding the issue of cheating, right? Did Billy Mitchell have a imputation or claim, America would call it a claim, that says that you defamed him for cheating at Donkey Kong? Because you said that he cheated at Donkey Kong or video games. Does that exist? Because Billy Mitchell's son, who I believe is contacting me, again, could be a catfish. If it is a catfish, you guys got me. I did do the research. I did do the homework. I did follow the King of Kong domain name, which is his YouTube handle. And I mean, maybe they got me. Maybe Karl Jobst's Discord channel got me. Great. And they're just having a great laugh in the Discord channel. But if what he says is, if this is the real guy, and if what he says is true, then the question really becomes, this was never about cheating. Why make it about cheating? Was there any financial benefit, maybe via the GoFundMe, if everyone thought this was about cheating? I noticed the GoFundMe did not mention Apollo Legends. Again, I'm reading the GoFundMe from, it does not have Apollo Legends. It has the term video game cheaters. It has the term Billy Mitchell, star of King of Kong, and proving video game cheater. Okay, so the first two lines have video game cheater and video game cheater. So you cannot say that you didn't talk about cheating. Clearly, that was important when you made this, right? There's not that much to go over. And you spent the first two lines talking about cheaters, right? And that Billy Mitchell was a proven video game cheater. And I don't see Apollo Legends' name in anywhere in the GoFundMe. And at this particular time, according to you, there were two different lawsuits going on. One of them had to be Apollo Legend, right? It had to be. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's the first lawsuit you're talking about, right? He sued me for defamation and claiming damages of $450,000. And the past year alone, the lawsuit has cost almost $200,000 to defend. That must be Apollo Legend, because there was actually a point in time where the judge looked at how much money you had spent, Karl, and how much money Billy Mitchell had spent. You had spent over $200,000, right? And Billy Mitchell had only spent less than $100,000 for his Queen's Counsel, which I think was a better attorney pick. My bias only. So when we talk about what is happening here, we have to talk about the GoFundMe. And even if you're right and you're racist and you're God, you misled people, Karl. How can I prove that you misled people? Just check your Twitter, check your comment section on your own videos, check the comment section on this video. You clearly misled them. If you wanted to be transparent, you would have Apollo Legend somewhere in this, right? And if you wanted to be transparent, you would, not only would you have Apollo Legend, your update would be, okay guys, we're only being sued for Apollo Legend now. Where the hell is Apollo Legend? I know where the hell video game cheater is. It's in the first two lines of your GoFundMe. Right? Hello Absolute Legends. I don't know if you count that as a line. But the reason so many people felt that you misled them, Karl, was because you did mislead them. Nowhere in this GoFundMe is there Apollo Legend. Nowhere in the GoFundMe is there a discussion of defamation regarding Apollo Legend. But the first two lines, I'm a YouTuber who reports on video game cheaters, period. Last year, Billy Mitchell, star of the King of Kong and proven video game cheater, sued me for defamation claiming, you look at these two lines, Karl, you're a smart guy. You tell me what you think the lawsuit is about. Let's say that it's not you, Karl. Let's say it's the Gerard Khalil. Let's say Gerard Khalil ran this. What would you roast him on? Would you allow him to get away with this, Karl? You're too smart for that. You are way too smart for this nuance, right? You would not let him get away with this. So the question I asked to the Karl Jobst fans, why are you letting him, he clearly has misled a large chunk of his audience, right? How do we know this? Well, they're complaining like hell on Twitter, right? Once they found out it was about Apollo Legend, Apollo who? Right? I mean, these are the most liked comments are like, I didn't know it was about Apollo Legend. Who's Apollo Legend? I didn't know it was about Apollo Legend. And then eventually people are like, oh, I knew it was about Apollo Legend, but I also thought it was about cheating. So what was it, Karl? Was it about Apollo Legends only? Or was it ever about cheating? Because Billy Mitchell's son says that he's only served and filed, his dad only served and filed one lawsuit against you. And that, none of the iterations had anything about video games or cheating in video games, right? The imputations. So I'm very baffled right now because I want to give Karl and I gave him, even until 2 days ago, or even a day ago, I gave him every benefit of the doubt. I assumed there were 2 lawsuits, or there was 1 lawsuit and the imputations had been changed. Then Billy Mitchell's son, not that he's alleged Billy Mitchell's son, allegedly somebody reached out to me claiming to be Billy Mitchell's son. He says, no, you got this wrong. So Karl, the supporters of Karl cannot tell me that I didn't support him in the beginning and I didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. I gave him the benefit of the doubt 2 days ago. If what this person is saying is true, we have to look at the GoFundMe, Karl. You would want me to look at the GoFundMe, wouldn't you? I mean, you looked at the completionist charity. You would want me to do it. You have to, right? Like, this is only fair. Like, I know you're a fair guy, Karl. You understand. You understand why this is important, and I hope you understand why people feel deceived and misled. They donated to GoFundMe, which literally has very few words. The 2 first words are cheater and cheater. The first sentence ends in cheater. The second sentence talks about Billy Mitchell being a proven video game cheater. What in the world? Why would you phrase it this way if it was always about Apollo Legend? And then why would you phrase your update in this way? Right? If there was no second lawsuit. Right? Why are you calling this a lawsuit if it wasn't? Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is, I guess the only way that we can find out is, and I implore you to please do this, if we all contact the judge and the court system in Australia and ask them, and it's a very easy question, and the more of us who ask, the more likely we'll get a response, and we'll just post it on Reddit or whatever. Was there 2 different cases, or was there only 1 case? That's it. And there's not going to be nuance. I promise you the court is not going to be like a nuance like Karl is sometimes, right? I promise you the court was going to say 1 or 2. I promise it will be a number. It'll be an integer number, if you will. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Bye, guys.